The incredible history and value of the 2001 cent coin. Is it worth more than you think? Asterisk. When you think about coins, most of us probably don't give much attention to the humble 1-cent piece. After all, it's the smallest denomination in U.S. currency. But did you know that the 2001 cent coin might just have a story, value, and hidden worth that will surprise you? Yes, today we're going to dive into the fascinating world of the 2000 penny, its history, its design, and its potential worth. Stick around, because you're in for a treat. Before we talk specifically about the 2001 cent coin, let's set the scene. By the time the year 2000 rolled around, the U.S. Mint had been producing pennies for more than 2 centuries. In fact, the penny, officially known as the 1-cent coin, has been a part of U.S. currency since 1793. Over the years, its design and composition have changed, but the penny has always been an essential part of everyday transactions. Narrator. In the year 2000, the penny was already an established part of American life. But by this time, the coin had undergone a number of changes. The classic wheat penny had been replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959, and in 2000, we saw a significant event, the introduction of a special design for the reverse side of the penny. Let's take a closer look at the 2001 cent coin. On the obverse, or front side, we have the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, which has been part of the penny since 1909. This design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, and it has stood the test of time as one of the most iconic depictions of any historical figure in American coinage. But where the 2000 penny stands out is in the reverse design. The classic Lincoln Memorial, which had been the hallmark of the penny since 1959, was retired in 2009 to make room for a new design celebrating Lincoln's bicentennial. However, in the year 2000, the reverse still featured the Lincoln Memorial, a lasting symbol of the American spirit. The reverse was a striking portrayal of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a monument to freedom and unity. But while this design would continue for a few more years, the year 2000 also marked a critical moment in the coin's history. It was the final year of the Lincoln Memorial reverse before the U.S. Mint introduced a series of new reverse designs to honor Lincoln's legacy. Now, let's talk about the physical aspects of the 2000 penny. At the turn of the 21st century, the penny was made primarily from copper-plated zinc. The U.S. Mint had transitioned from the older copper-nickel alloy to this new composition in 1982, and by 2000, pennies weighed 2.5 grams and had a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. This change in metal composition was driven by economic factors, as the cost of producing the penny from pure copper was becoming too expensive. By 2000, the penny had become a highly cost-efficient coin for the mint to produce, even as the cost of raw materials continued to rise. However, this would not be the last challenge for the penny. In fact, the mint has continued to grapple with the increasing cost of producing pennies, and there have been debates over the years about whether the penny should continue to be minted at all. So, how much is the 2001 cent coin worth today? Well, in terms of face value, it's still worth just 1 cent. However, things get more interesting when we look at the rarity and condition of these coins in circulation. The 2000 penny is, for the most part, still a very common coin. But in certain cases, it may hold more value than you expect. The value of the 2000 penny can vary depending on its condition. For instance, a 2000 penny in mint state, or with no visible wear, might be worth a little more than 1 cent to a collector. You could potentially find one for a few cents above face value at a coin shop or through an online auction. Coins are graded based on their condition, with grades ranging from good to uncirculated. If you happen to find a 2000 penny in perfect condition, it may be worth slightly more to collectors, especially if it's a rare variation. But for the most part, these coins are not considered valuable enough to break the bank. But hold on. Before you dismiss the 2000 penny as just another coin, you should know that certain rare variations of this coin are worth much more than you might think. Some 2,000 pennies feature unique errors that can increase their value significantly. One of the most famous error coins of this year is the 2,000 wide M penny. A striking error occurred when the mint mistakenly produced some pennies with the letters A and M in America on the reverse side too far apart. This variety is known as the wide AM variety, and it can be worth quite a bit more to collectors, sometimes hundreds of dollars, depending on the condition. Other error coins from the year 2000, such as those with misprints or off-center strikes, can also be worth significant amounts. Some of these pennies have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars at auctions. So, the next time you stumble upon a 2,000 penny in your change, take a moment to inspect it closely. You might just have an overlooked treasure on your hands. As the years go by, the question of whether the penny should continue to be produced has become more pressing. With the rising cost of minting the penny and the increasing use of digital transactions, many wonder if the US should stop producing the 1-cent coin altogether. In fact, other countries, like Canada, have already phased out their lowest denomination coins. The rise of credit cards, smartphones, and digital wallets means that the need for pennies in everyday transactions is diminishing. Even so, the penny holds a sentimental place in American culture, and there are still many who argue for its continued existence. Whether it's for nostalgic reasons, or for its role in rounding up prices, the penny is still very much a part of the American economy. So, what's the future of the 2,000 penny? Will it eventually become a collector's item, or will it fade into obscurity? It's hard to say, but one thing is certain: the 2,000 penny, like all coins, tells a story. It's a piece of history that captures a moment in time in the year 2000. As we move into an increasingly digital age, coins like the penny may become relics of the past, but their legacy will live on in the numismatic world. So, the next time you come across a 2,000 penny, take a moment to appreciate it. Whether it's the coin's historical significance, its design, or its potential value in the collector's world, there's much more to this small piece of currency than meets the eye. And who knows, your 2,000 penny could just be the next hidden gem you've been waiting for. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the world of the 2,000 1-cent coin. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you won't miss out on more fascinating stories like this one. Until next time, keep collecting, keep learning, and remember, sometimes the smallest things have the greatest value. A close-up of a shiny 2000D 1-cent coin spinning slowly on a table. The camera zooms in as the coin gradually comes to a stop. When we think of pennies, we often think of those small, copper-colored coins that are always just a small part of our daily transactions. But today, we're diving into the 2000D 1-cent coin, a specific penny that holds some interesting history, potential worth, and differences compared to other pennies from the same year. You might just be sitting on a hidden treasure, so let's explore what makes this penny so special. Ready to discover what sets the 2000D penny apart? Let's go! So, what exactly is the 2000D penny? At first glance, it might just seem like a regular 2000 1-cent coin, but there's more to it than meets the eye. The D you see on the coin is a mint mark, something that tells us where the coin was produced. In this case, the D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the U.S. Mint's primary coin-producing facilities located in Colorado. The U.S. Mint has multiple facilities across the country, and each one uses its own unique mint mark to distinguish the coins they produce. In 2000, the Denver Mint struck a large number of pennies, and that's why the 2000D penny is so common. In fact, the D mint mark is one of the most prevalent mint marks found on U.S. pennies from that year. But while this penny may seem ordinary at first, it's essential to understand its history, its role in the coinage system, and of course, how it stacks up in terms of value. The penny, or 1-cent coin, has a rich history that dates back to the earliest days of the United States. By the time we reached the year 2000, the penny had undergone several significant design changes. For much of the 20th century, the reverse side of the penny featured the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro. This design was first introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The 2000 penny is part of the last few years to feature the Lincoln Memorial design. It was struck during the final years before the U.S. Mint introduced new reverse designs to commemorate Lincoln's bicentennial in 2009. So, when you hold the 2000 penny, you're holding a piece of history, a coin that helped represent the ideals of freedom, unity, and democracy for over 4 decades. On the obverse side, the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln by Victor David Brenner remains unchanged, still celebrating the legacy of the 16th President of the United States. The composition and production of the 2000 1-cent coin, ***. Now let's talk about the composition of the 2000 penny. By the year 2000, the penny had switched from the original copper-nickel alloy to a copper-plated zinc composition. The penny weighs 2.5 grams and measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter. The change in material was a response to rising copper prices, making it more economical for the U.S. Mint to produce pennies using zinc at its core with a thin copper plating. This shift in material had significant implications for the cost of producing pennies. As the years passed, the price to make a penny slowly crept higher, and by the 2000s, it was no longer just a simple coin to produce. However, the 2000 penny still retained its classic appearance, and the decision to mint the penny from zinc was part of a broader strategy to ensure the coin remained affordable while still being used widely in everyday transactions. Now we come to the million-dollar question: what's the value of a 2000 penny today? In terms of face value, this penny is worth exactly 1 cent. After all, that's what it was made for, to serve as a small but vital part of the U.S. economy. But like all coins, the value of the 2000 penny can vary based on its condition and any unique characteristics it may have. Most 2000 pennies that circulate today are in circulated condition, meaning they've seen their fair share of time in wallets, piggy banks, or in circulation at stores. These coins typically hold no premium above their face value. Rare variations of the 2000 penny and their value, but hold on. The 2000 penny isn't just ordinary. Like many coins, some rare variations and errors can make the 2000 penny more valuable than you'd expect. One of the most well-known errors in the 2000 penny series is the wide AM error. In the 2000 penny, the letters A and M in America were supposed to be closer together. However, due to a minting error, some coins were struck with the letters spaced farther apart. This error, known as the wide AM, is a highly sought-after variety among collectors, and it can command a much higher price, sometimes hundreds of dollars, depending on its condition. Now, let's address a common question. What's the difference between the 2000 1-cent coin and the 2000 1-cent coin? The main difference is the mint mark. The 2000 penny could have been struck in either Philadelphia or Denver, and each mint has its own distinct mark. The 2000 penny with no mint mark was struck in Philadelphia, while the 2000 penny, as we've discussed, was minted in Denver. The mint mark D stands for the Denver Mint, and these coins make up a significant portion of the pennies produced in that year. The 2000 penny is far more common in circulation compared to the Philadelphia struck pennies from the same year. In terms of value, there's little difference between the two in general circulation. Both coins are widely available and are worth just 1 cent unless you find a rare error coin or one in pristine condition. But the key takeaway here is that the 2000 penny, while common, might hold more value for collectors, especially if it's one of the rare error varieties. But for now, pennies continue to hold a place in our pockets, and the 2000 penny remains a symbol of both past and present coinage. Whether you're collecting them for historical reasons, as a hobby, or simply because you have one lying around, it's clear that these small coins still have a big impact. So there you have it, the story of the 2000 1-cent coin. From its history and minting process to its value and the potential for rare errors, the 2000 penny is more than just pocket change. It's a piece of American history that could hold value in your collection, and maybe even a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching! If you've enjoyed learning about the 2000 penny, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more amazing coin stories. Until next time, keep collecting and keep exploring the fascinating world of numismatics.